Hello, this is Jay Mitchell, and we are back with another episode of the Libertarian Uncensored podcast, going over all the posts on Libertarian Uncensored subreddit. Let's get right into it. So first we have the dangerous ideas of Diogenes the Cynic, history's most outlandish philosopher, from BigThink.com by Zachinus, and they added, his legacy was considerable, not only in respect to the challenge he posed to the established authority, but also because of his indifference to material comforts and his commitment to a cosmopolitan conception of citizenship. Sounds like a true libertarian. And I would agree with that. I think Diogenes, he didn't really care what the societal standards were. He did his own thing. I think that's very much what being a libertarian is, doing your own thing and not really caring what the official societal custom is. And that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Katie Porter says California primary rigged after losing from Newsweek, and I posted that, and I said, it's okay though. She has the right letter next to her name. It's acceptable to say. It seems to be acceptable to say elections are rigged. You only have to blame Russia or billionaires. Maybe if Trump loses the next election, you could say, "Oh, the Russian oligarchs actually rigged the election against me," and maybe then the people on the left will start to support him instead. That just goes to show it's all double standards, really. Everyone's going to just say the elections that they lose are rigged. And, that just goes to show you that, people, that's why I don't know if we should even have elections, if we're just going to say they're rigged, so that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have, this is effectively central bank digital currency for livestock from Thomas Massey on Twitter, and that was him talking about the new bill that would require people to chip all their cows so that they can be kept in a national database. And if you don't comply with that, they won't let you keep your cattle or sell products made from them. I think if people want to do it, they should be able to, but I don't think they should be forced to do so if they don't want to. I definitely think it goes against food freedom. I know my state Libertarian Party just passed a resolution supporting that. I think if you want to chip your cows, I think you should be able to, but I don't think the government should be forcing you to chip your cows if you don't want to, or forcing you to record sales of them if you don't want to. Then we have WFAA obtains emails and texts surrounding film crew's controversial visit to Keller ISD School from WFAA.com by Film05563. And they added Keller ISD confirmed that on February 9th, then school board trustee Sandy Walker led an evangelical film crew into Central High School without direct permission or parental consent. During the film crew's visit, students were filmed and interviewed for an upcoming documentary, God, Jesus, Trump. And, ultimately, I'm kind of 50-50 on this one. If she wants to let whoever she wants to into the school, I think she should be able to. But, if that being said, if the parents wouldn't be comfortable with that, I think, that's important to remember as well. That's ultimately why I don't think we should have these schools at all. We should just let each individual, educate their own children rather than have these collective schools. But I think if people want to have collective schools, they should be able to. But I just think you've run into too much stuff like this when you have collective schools. That it might be turned into something like, oh, I don't want this, I don't want this. And that's just why collectivism can be hard sometimes, especially when it's forced collectivism. Then we have hilarious RuPaul, the dude who encourages kids to become drag queens, made an online bookstore to sell all books and fight against book banning. It included my kid's book. The left freaked out and forced them to remove it from Shia Rychek on Twitter, and I posted that and I said, this is very much the ethos of the modern left. When they say read banned books, they mean only what they interpret to be the good banned books and not the ones they consider to be the bad banned books. Props to the website for restoring it, at least. And that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Florida Senate passes bill blocking local rules protecting workers from heat from NBCNews.com by Ninja Lover. And I said, I don't really care for it, but it is a libertarian option. The government shouldn't be forcing private businesses to do water breaks if they don't want to. I think if an employer wants to provide accommodations, that they should be able to, but I'm against the government forcing private businesses to provide accommodations. Then we have breaking. The federal government has been illegally surveilling and building profiles for Americans in a secret portal called DSAC for those who oppose firearm restrictions, lockdowns and vaccine mandates, and or support border security and are labeling them as domestic extremists from Patrick Webb on Twitter. And I posted that and I said, Sorry, they're scary but not surprising, sadly. They probably have tons of other watch lists as well. I dare say if you aren't on at least 5 of them, you're probably not a real libertarian. That's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have TSA unveils a prototype self-service airport checkpoint security screening system from NPR.org by Zachness. And I definitely think that's not good. We need to get rid of the TSA rather than let them manhandle us every time we decide to fly on a plane. And that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have main shooter used to be friendly, but his mental health began deteriorating. Autopsy showed brain damage caused by repeated grenade blasts. U.S. military doesn't warn about grenade-linked brain injuries from MyTimes.com, and that's a crosspost from the military subreddit. And yeah, I think that's that just goes to show you that PTSD can be a very real thing, and that's why you need to help people with it, I think. But I don't think you should be forced to help people with it. But I think we definitely need to help people with it, or else they will, do stuff like the main shooter, and that wouldn't be good. And that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Biden touts more forever wars, breaking his 2021 promises from Reason, and I posted that. I said, a politician going back on their word, who could have seen that coming, besides everyone with an IQ over 0? I personally didn't really watch the. I never listened to the State of the Propaganda speech, regardless of whose POTUS, but definitely, didn't seem to be that libertarian from what I saw on it. Then we have page from AP U.S. government textbook by Far and Chimney, and that's from the neoliberal subreddit, and that's a political compass. And yeah, I guess I would agree with that. It does show how most figures in U.S. politics are very authoritarian and right-leaning, and that's not something that I personally care for, especially the authoritarian part. I think if you're libertarian and right-leaning, kind of like Ron Paul, I think that's okay. But a lot of figures in U.S. politics like Barack Obama, Donald Trump, Joe Biden, they're all kind of authoritarian and right-leaning. But ultimately, being authoritarian left-leaning is much better, like Stalin or like Fidel Castro. That's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have Katie Britt's State of the Union rebuttal, torched by Republicans from RollingStone.com by Paton 13. And I didn't count on that one, but yeah, I definitely do think she was kind of like being very theatrical about it, and that's increasingly what politics is. I think it's all pretty much theater, and that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have how to remove a sitting SCOTUS justice again from Paton 13. That's a Tom the Dancing Bug comic about how Clarence Thomas is bad. And yeah, I personally don't really care for Clarence Thomas, but he's like a Donald Trump. I don't really like the anti-Clarence Thomas circle driver. That kind of gets annoying after a while. Then we have fact-checking Joe Biden's 2024 State of the Union address from PolitiFact.com. And yeah, I definitely don't think it was that libertarian, and I definitely do think he's lying, and that's why we need to hold him accountable. Then we have fact-checking the GOP response to Biden's State of the Union from PolitiFact.com by Paton 13, and yeah, I definitely do think we shouldn't be. The Republicans aren't much better when it comes to that either, I would say, and yeah, that's why we need to hold both parties accountable for their abuses of power and lies. And we have Great Moments and Unintended Consequences, Volume 15 from Reason TV, and I posted that, and I said, I don't know if I said anything on that one, but just go show you that, when the government the government can really do anything, but it always ends up hurting people, and I think that's, something we need to stop. We need to just let people, if people want to do something, we should be able to, but I don't think the government should be forcing people to do anything or implementing any programs for people that might end up hurting them, and that's my thoughts on that issue. Then we have thought the Gaza airdrop aid was a ridiculous publicity stunt, but I at least assumed they could accomplish it without killing anyone. I was wrong, from Ken Klippenstein on Twitter, and I posted that, and I said, that's the U.S. government, alright. Even when it tries to help you, it ends up hurting you. And that just kind of goes into the thing, we just talked about, how the government all programs from them kind of don't end up being too positive, even if they try and help people. Then we have "You will own nothing and be happy" from Wikipedia, and I posted that, and I said, "I will not eat the bugs. I will not live in the pod. I will own something. I will feel however I want to. I won't let the state dictate push me around and tell me what to do. It's like Obama said, yes, we can. I like what John Stoss said in response to that. No, they can't. Don't let the government push you around. Don't let them make you eat bugs, live in the pod, own nothing, and be happy. Just stand against them and don't force them to do something that you don't want. They don't want. You don't want to." Then we have "What Idiot Trump's Bond E. Jean Carroll Trial." This one from New Republic by Madame 13. They added, "Next time someone claims Trump tried to drain the swamp of political backdoor deals, remind them that he got nearly $100 million for a single political appointment." And I would agree with that. Ultimately, Trump is as corrupt as the rest of them, I would say. I don't think he's some unique evil. I think he's more par for the course. But with that being said, he definitely isn't a libertarian, I would say. Then we have "Comedian Makes Joke, Cop Gets Hurt Feelings and Charges him with Crime" from Chad Muffin. And that's a YouTube video from James Freeman. And yeah, it just goes to show you that the police can do whatever they want to and arrest you for anything. And that's why you gotta say, no, you can't do that. I'm taking a stand against you. I'm a libertarian. I make my own rules. You don't make the rules for me. That's my thoughts on that issue. And finally, we have "Historic Preservation Board stops family removing KKK supporters' initial from front of their house from reason." And I posted that, and I said, I personally wouldn't remove it, but I think people should be able to do whatever they want with their own property. I'm personally really into historic preservation. I don't think we should be getting rid of historic properties and architecture, but ultimately, it is what the property owner wants and not what I want. And that's my thoughts on that issue. So I think we're going to wrap up there, or I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.